Yes, welcome back. We are the Red Hot Underdogs. I am AnzaK, and with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, but never duplicated. Put your hands together for Drewy.
Hey, hey, buddy. Hey, big guy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast that makes no apologies for always running on empty.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
No apologies.
So, no apologies whatsoever. So, we're getting to the back end of the year.
Yes.
That's fine. Just before we rip into the sport, just a quick rundown on last week, the test match. Nothing much to be said. The real winner wasn't India or Australia. It was the weather.
The
And
weather.
we all lost. Yes.
Yeah, well, when the weather wins, you lose. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
If people are looking for an in-depth description of the third test, you've come to entirely the wrong place, because the actual game was dominated by the weather.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, in a very disappointing moment for the Sunshine State, which wasn't so much filled with sunshine, what we do get out of the test series so
Drewy, I
far
gotta
is
stop you
that
there, cuz. You've just frozen. Oh no, you're unfroze. You're like
I'm
this.
unfrozen.
Did you see what you froze at?
No, but I'll see it on the replay. But
Okay,
that's okay.
I can hear you
Well,
perfectly, but your picture is a bit slow, but it doesn't matter. I mean, nobody cares.
that's all right.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
red hot underdogs.
Running
The
on
show rolls on.
running on empty here. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, just in a nutshell, what I will wrap up with the cricket. One thing that this series has shown us is that Australia's shining light has been Travis Head with the
Yep.
bat. He's got 2 centuries in a row, consecutive tests. For India, it's been Jasprit Bumrah with the actual ball, so he's been their best bowler.
Yep.
Good to see Stephen Smith finally get a century and get back in the runs.
Yeah.
And apart from that, it's all pretty even Stevens. But as far as cricket is concerned, not much to report, because we've got something bigger to get onto,
Yeah, much
which
bigger.
is
Yeah.
the world heavyweight boxing today.
It happened.
It happened, correct.
It happened.
So, you know, unashamedly, we're big Tyson Fury fans here at the Red Hot Underdogs.
Yep.
You don't always get what you want in sport, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, Alexander Usyk now goes to 23 wins, no losses, and no draws. And Tyson Fury drops to 34 wins, 2 losses by way of Usyk, and 1 draw.
Both the Usyk, yeah. And
Yes.
unanimous decision.
Unanimous decision. There was some conjecture over
take us through the fight.
the
Take us through the
scores.
fight, Drewy. Take us through from the start,
Okay.
the hype, to where'd you watch it, everything. Take us through everything.
All right, well, I'll tell you what happened. So, in a few days, my wife is actually having a baby. So this will be our first child, which is amazing, fantastic. We don't know what the sex is. We'll find out on the day.
Yep.
Long story short, I was going to watch it in real time. I did watch the full fight.
Yeah.
However, we had some friends coming down from Queensland. They said, can we catch up on the 22nd of December?
Yeah, can you believe
at
it?
9 o'clock? There couldn't have been a worse time, but I wasn't going to be the ultimate tug nut and say, no, I can't, because I've got to watch a fight. Sometimes in this world, you got to give a little. So that's what
you got to give, and you gave up it. That's important to you. Look, that's the story of my life. And but you know, we're in the same boat as you. I had people round. We are going to watch the fight, but a lot of people cancelled that were really keen to watch the fight. And by the time people kind of got there, the fight was over. So I thought that would happen. and it did happen. So I just watched the replay on YouTube.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we kind of live in a world where you watch something an hour later and it's free
Yeah.
and it's just as good, but all you need to do is make sure it doesn't get spoilt for you, which is quite hard. But it was me and Pete, big shout out to Pete, and we
Yeah,
didn't want to
yeah,
find
yeah.
it. And we were on there kind of looking on YouTube, and YouTube
Mm.
often gives out the result by a picture, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it
oh
always
no.
does.
And so
Always.
we're trying not to, and we're looking, and the only thing we found was the highlights, which is okay. We got a 14-minute highlight. Um, I guess my rambling on there had a point,
Mm.
and the point is both you and I found ourselves in a way where we watched a replay, but you know, it's easy to watch replays these days. It really
It
is.
is easy to watch a replay. I
You know?
actually watched the full thing because
Yeah.
I ordered it.
Okay. Yep.
Uh, the thing is I ordered it so that after I could do what I had to do with the social outing, I could
Yep.
come home and I watched it. I put a newspaper over the screen and got the remote control and clicked on the DAZN icon so I couldn't see any of the result coming up.
Yep. Yep.
The only downside I had, now I don't know if this is a byproduct of if you don't watch it first time, you
Yeah.
don't get commentary.
Yeah.
All I got was not silence. I could hear them throwing punches and the crowd, and that I just had no commentary. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Uh so I watched the full fight with no commentary. I think, look, I do think Usyk may have just scraped it. I actually have a case for it being a draw.
Yeah.
So before people call me an out and out Fury fanboy, I will probably not go as far as to say that Fury had grounds to say that he won it. I'd say that he had enough grounds to say it was a draw
Yep.
or 7 rounds to 5 to Usyk. There was some conjecture over the scorecards because all three judges scored it 116, 112, 8 rounds to 4
Yep.
for Usyk. And I just thought that that was too wide.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Fury does it. Like, you can lose, but I don't think he deserved to lose by those
Like
scorecards.
unanimously, you don't think it should have been a unanimous win? Is that what you're saying?
I don't have a problem with unanimous. I just have a problem with the margin. I think there could have been 2 7-5s or 3 7-5s, or there could have been
Yeah,
a
they
six
said
six.
Fury lost the 7 rounds, the last 7 rounds in a row or something. That's what you.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
saw the fight, and I wasn't buying that at all.
Yeah.
No way. I look. Huge credit to Usyk, fantastic fighter, absolutely brilliant. The thing is, no fighter seemed to dominate the other.
Yeah.
Usyk just sort of scratched out a win
Yeah.
and was a little bit better down the stretch than Fury. I
Yep.
put that partly down to his skill and partly down to the fact that he's a much smaller man.
Yep.
Fury came in slightly heavier, I think, to
Yeah. So I mean,
enforce his power,
heavier, not heavier with muscle, heavier with gut weight.
weight.
Yeah. And
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and that makes you tired, and that makes you gasp, and that may like he didn't look Fury didn't look out of his league. He didn't look like tired. Yeah, anybody's going to be tired, but he wasn't. He didn't look horrible, but still he was carrying heaps more weight. You
He
know.
was carrying heaps more weight. I think part of it might have been because he got a little bit spooked last time from the knockdown in the last fight, but part of it might have also been so he could be on the front foot and assert his weight and authority
Yep.
and supposedly have a bit more power behind the punch. The only gamble that has is if it starts going down the stretch, then the other opponent, who is some 20 kilos less than you,
Mm.
might have more stamina down the stretch is what Usyk had, and he had enough stamina down the stretch to throw a few more punches
Yep.
to make that significant difference in order to get over the line with the judges, even though I thought the judges' scorelines were slightly wider than they should have been. I got no problem with Usyk winning. It
Did
was
the
just the
better fighter
margin.
win? So did the better fighter win?
I think so, but it wasn't like you could look at this fight and it was so clear that it was
Yeah,
just an Usyk win. It
yeah.
just wasn't one of those where you're like, yeah, that guy completely. But if you had a gun to my head, I'd say yeah, Usyk won and
You see,
he was the slightly better man. He scratched out a victory.
Coach Adewey, do you see now they've got AI that does it as well? Like,
Yes,
and
yes.
AI said that I know that, should that count or would, like, so that AI as well said Usyk won, you know?
Or the AI was absolutely terrible. We
Really?
need we need to take that AI computer. We need to get some gasoline, get a packet of Redheads matches, and light that thing on fire.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay.
Because you know what? After the fight, the AI ref gave a grand score of 118 to 112 to Usyk.
Yeah.
How bloody stupid.
Yeah.
That
Well,
just
okay.
shows you
But that's,
computers do not know everything.
but that's what the three judges gave it similar to that too. Like quite,
Not really. 116, 112 is a fair
okay.
bit different to 118, 112 or whatever it was. This is a
But
significant
the same
difference.
argument you are that Usyk won, but you
Yeah.
know, he won by too much. You thought he won by too much.
Yeah, I thought so. But at the end of the day, look, the right man won.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, I thought at times Fury landed the cleaner, more significant, harder looking shots.
Yeah.
But whenever Fury landed something, Usyk was able to come back with twos and threes and
Yeah.
throw together more combinations where it mattered, when it mattered
Win
visually for the judges.
wins fights.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it only came down to a few things. I think for the most part, it was a very close competitive fight. I don't care what anyone says. I absolutely think it was such a close fight, but it wasn't really the most exciting fight, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just who could throw a few more punches when it mattered, who was a bit fitter down the stretch, and who
Yeah.
used their brain when they really needed to at clutch moments, which was Usyk for the most part. You know, I
Okay.
thought Fury had a strong start, but
Yeah.
like we saw in the first fight, Usyk has this knack of knowing when to put his foot on the accelerator, and he's very good at coming home at the back stretch of fights.
Before we do what's next for Usyk and what's next for Fury, how do you think they handled it? Because we talked, the last time they shoved that microphone in Tyson's mouth, his face, whatever, and he said a
Yeah.
few stupid things. This time, what happened, and what do you think about it?
Well, this time, Fury made sure that he didn't have the chance to say anything stupid in the ring after the fight because he left the ring
Yeah,
without talking into the
I mean,
microphone.
but
So,
again, is that cool?
it doesn't matter whether it's cool or not. Most people would say it's not. I don't mind it. Again, as I've discussed before, it's the theatre of boxing.
Well,
Some
if
people
you
are very
were
disappointed. It's not great sportsmanship, but it's a talking point. And he always creates talking points no matter what, whether you like it or not.
okay, it's a talking point, but I don't think it's cool. Like, there's a lot of people that paid a lot of money to be there.
That's true.
And, you know, some words after the fight is what people want. The people that are
Yeah.
there, that flew there and paid a lot of money. And as soon as he gets the result, he doesn't like the result and he walks off.
Yeah, look, I can't argue with you, and I'm never going to defend his actions.
Yeah.
It just creates a talking point. I'm not saying I agree with it because I don't. One thing he did do, he did talk after the fight, at the table with all the press
He
there.
had to.
I,
He had to.
he had to. He couldn't go 0 from 2.
And
He
what
had
did
to
he
at
say?
least go 1 from 2.
Did you watch that? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did watch that. He thought that he won,
Yeah.
as he's
It's
always going to say.
100%. Just rambled
That's
on and on that he won.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty close fight, to be fair. And I think he's always going to say that he won. Doesn't matter what happens, but unless you get knocked out, of course. But look, it was just a regular preamble. I think a lot of it after he left the ring, and I'm not defending his actions here, but he went away for 3 months in solitary confinement in Malta, training with no phone, no contact from his family. He was completely dialed in. So
Crazy.
I think also the fact that you spend that much time, you leave no stone unturned, and you go so forensically into that much detail and you still lose, and
Yeah.
it's the second in a row to the same person,
Yeah.
and it's for the best fighter of this era.
Yeah.
I think that all of those moments combined probably got a bit too disappointing for him, and that's not me defending him. That's just me trying to reconcile with maybe why his actions were what they were.
Okay. And what about Usyk? What did you think of his, in the ring and after what he said
Well,
happened?
Usyk as usual, and I don't mind the man. He's a very stoic,
Yeah.
proud, wonderful warrior,
Yep.
superb boxer,
Yep.
brilliant skills, all of that. But he's never had a great relationship with words, let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
He was on his regular diet of about 5 words a
Yeah.
sentence maximum,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know. 5 words for him is a Churchillian speech.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
how was your camp? It's good.
Good. Yeah.
So how do you feel now?
Good.
Fantastic. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic might be giving a bit too much
Yeah,
away,
that's
even to
too much.
Usyk.
His back is
You know.
good. Is good, good, good. And did you see they had that what's his name? The boxer come in,
Yeah, Daniel Dubois.
Wow, yeah, the English guy with the French name. So, geez, that was staged, wasn't it? They
It was
just
very staged.
they thought, oh, Fury's run off and had his little tiff, so let's bring in Dubois. And just to recap, Usyk's beaten Dubois
He has.
just once.
So just once in 2023. Interesting point about that fight, because in the 5th round, Dubois heavily dropped Usyk with what appeared to be a body shot,
Yeah.
and the referee called it a low blow.
Ah.
And Usyk was on the ground claiming it's a low blow, it's a low blow. And the referee goes, oh, okay, it's a low blow. And Usyk was given a full 5 minutes to recover
Yeah.
and was in deep trouble if that wasn't a low blow. You talk to most people and they're 50-50 on whether it was or it wasn't. I've
Yeah.
watched boxing for years and I'm still undecided.
Yeah.
So,
Did it hit him in the meat and potatoes? That's the question.
and I think it was a bit above the meat and potatoes, actually.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Usyk was in a fair bit of danger, and he
Yeah.
knew it. He was buying time. So there is that narrative of unfinished business. Now, that fight was fairly competitive up until the 9th round,
Yep.
and that's where Dubois was finally stopped. But don't let that fool you that he was stopped by Usyk in that fight, because that was a tremendous turning point for him, because since then Dubois has gone on to beat Jarrell Miller, Philippe Hrgovic, and the great Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
all on the fly, and they are 3 very formidable heavyweights.
Yeah.
And I think he learned so much more than he's ever learned in his whole entire life of boxing that night. So, and I think he's really on the rise. I think if Usyk was to take any fight, that's an absolute banger.
Will he?
Well, it's funny. I think he will, but Dubois has to get past Joseph Parker next,
Yeah,
which is a fight, I believe, coming up in February. Parker's 35 wins, 3 losses, and no draws. I think that Dubois will beat Parker. Parker's a very good fighter. I wouldn't say he's completely elite, but gee, he's not bad.
yeah,
He's pretty decent. So that'll be a good test for Dubois. I expect Dubois to get through that. And then I'm thinking that Usyk will fight Dubois in a rematch, and Dubois has a hell of a lot of power. 22 wins, and out of those 22 wins, he's got 21 knockouts.
yeah. And
So
has Usyk, like, he doesn't seem that he's dodged or avoided anybody, right? And it doesn't seem like he's doing these fights for the dollars. It just seems he's fighting who has ever been in front of him. I'm not just talking about the heavyweights, I'm talking about the lower divisions too. Like, has he ever dodged fighters?
no, there's no matrix action going on here. He doesn't dodge bullets. No, he
Okay,
takes them on head on.
head on.
So he cleared out the cruiserweight division, and I'm even going as far as to say he has the single best resume in boxing.
Yeah. And
So, yeah.
well, I don't feel like he needs to fight Dubois. Like, I know you mentioned that, like, he
He
beat him.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wrong from last week's episode. I thought that if Usyk would win today, I thought he'd leave his gloves in the ring, take the belts, retire, sail off into the sunset, having beaten Joshua twice, Fury twice, completely cleaned out the cruiserweight division, beaten Dubois. You've done it all. Not
Yeah.
much else to do, but he wants to fight again.
I hope,
So,
I
yeah, I've
really,
got no
really
problem with
do.
that.
I really, really do. I hope he fights again because, like, as we've said many times, it's so good to be around watching a sport, and not even just talking about boxing, any sport as well, where you've just got someone that dominates so much.
Yes,
Really
yes.
is the dominator of 2024, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are watching, we're watching a living legend
Yep,
right now.
yep,
We actually are. That gets thrown around a little bit here and there. It's not always. This is actually a bona fide living legend to
yep,
completely clear out the cruiserweight division, win
yep,
all the belts there, win all the belts at heavyweight,
yep.
and like I say, beat the opponents he's beaten at heavyweight. We're watching history here. So it's
Very
amazing.
happy he wants to stay around. I hope that happens. I really do. Look, why not have a Dubai fight or another up and comer? I'd be really happy with that too. Someone young and giving someone young a shot. That'd be
There are a few up and comers right now. One thing I'm
good.
going to say about Usyk, when you watch him, you don't go, oh, wow, he's got dazzling speed or earth shattering power,
Yep,
but he's so consistently good at absolutely everything.
yep,
So, although you might not be thinking you're watching a force of nature, you actually are because he's like on an assignment. He's like 90% at almost everything that he does
yep. And
in almost every category. It's
how many
phenomenal. So he puts it all together.
how many more do you think we'll see of Usyk fights?
So I think you'll see Dubois,
Yep.
and I actually think that Fury and poor old AJ will do a best of the rest
Okay, yeah,
just
that's what I was about to get into. So that's
for a
Usyk. So
cash out
that's
for
great.
them.
What about Fury? What's next for Fury?
I think he'll do a best of the rest with
Yep.
bloody AJ. He'll cash out there
And
because
people will watch it. People will love it.
yeah, there's too much money for him to leave on the table.
And he'll
You
probably
know,
do it in Britain too. Like, he won't do it in Saudi Arabia, right?
yeah, it'll be in Britain and he'll come out with the regular bloody rubbish that comes out of his mouth, even though I love it.
Yep.
He'll probably say, oh, I'll beat this tosser AJ, even though that they were never going to give me a decision against Usyk. That was never going to happen, and I was robbed. But on to the next. What do you do?
Yep.
You can just see that narrative coming from his mouth.
Yeah.
And again, it'll be like good guy, bad guy
Yep.
sort of rivalry. But as far as Usyk is concerned, yeah, I think Dubois will be next. We'll have to see what happens there. I wouldn't mind seeing Dubois beat Usyk. I'm not completely anti-Usyk, even though I just want to know if this guy is freaking human.
Yeah.
Like he seems to be winning all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you see someone so invincible, there's a part of you that just thinks, can he be beaten by someone?
Yeah.
Can we just know that this irrepressible force is
Yeah.
somewhat human, just a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I said about this fight, so I'm not. Don't quote me on this. For me, if he beat Usyk, if Usyk beat Dubois, that'd be the perfect time to then retire.
Yeah.
You've then beaten Fury, Joshua, and Dubois twice each.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what else are you going to do? I mean, and then Britain's got this new phenomenon called Moses Atalma.
Yeah.
He's a 19-year-old. He knocked out our Aussie guy, Dempsey McKean, in the first round,
Yeah.
completely pancaked him. This guy will be a phenomenon in the future, but I don't want him to aim for Mike Tyson's record of getting to be the earliest to win the world championship or vie for it, because he's too much of a talent to throw him in too early.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was on the undercut. So look out for Moses Atalma. He'll be an absolute force of nature in the future, only 19 years old. In heavyweight. So
he's 19.
yeah. So I think what we can gather from this is that Usyk is by far and away the bona fide best heavyweight of this generation.
Yep. Yep. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Even though I wanted it to be Fury, but you don't always get what you want in life.
Me often that,
Yeah, it is what it is.
I often don't get what I want. I get what I don't want, and I don't get what I want more often than I get what I want. I rarely get what I want. I never get what I want.
You know how people often say you don't get what you want, you get what you need.
Yeah.
Quite often I don't get what I want, and
No.
I also don't get what I need.
No, I don't get that either. No.
But that's okay. That's what happens
What
to
I don't
underdog.
need. That's what I get. I get
Yes.
nothing or what I don't need. You can take your pick. Nothing
You
or
can
what you
take
don't
your
need. Yeah.
you can take your bloody pick. And I reckon there's a lot of sportsmen and teams out there. If any of them watch the Red Hot Underdogs, which I highly doubt, they'd be like, please, guys, don't support us because we're just going to lose.
Yeah, that's right.
It seems to be a common thread. We go for Tyson Fury.
Yep.
Where he loses every bout that we cover him on now, which is two since we've been doing the Red Hot Underdogs.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this Novak Djokovic Grand Slam 25th one. He's been stuck on 24 since we've been doing the Red Hot Underdogs.
True.
So, yeah. Anyway, we're a bit of a curse.
Just to change the topic, that's coming up soon, the tennis.
Yes, it will. It will.
Next thing, or I guess we got a bit of cricket over the New Year and Christmas, and
yeah, we've got some cricket. I just hope that the weather doesn't rear its ugly head. I mean, I think Queensland are going to have to change that number plate from the Sunshine State to something else.
Yeah,
because that wasn't too good in the last test. We got 2 more tests to go, so hopefully, Sydney and Melbourne give us some joy.
Yeah, I think they will.
I think they will too. So that'll be good. Because I think Australia slightly have the upper hand in the cricket, and I think the tennis will be exciting.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, as far as Aussie sport is concerned, there's a lot to look forward to still with the tennis coming up.
Yep.
It's probably not going to happen, but until Novak Djokovic has career finishes.
Yeah.
The red hot underdogs are still going to wish him on for glory for
Yeah.
cracking that 25th major.
And
I dare say, I think you'll be stuck on 24 forever. Hell of an accomplishment, but we got the new breed coming in and Yannick Sinner and the
yeah.
like who are moving up. So, and Carlos Alcaraz. So,
And no better time for him to get that 25 than in
yeah.
Australia.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I always say this, and you can relate the tennis to the boxing in some way because
Yeah.
although the boxing is ushering out major champions like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and Usyk won't be around for much longer, and you think, oh no, who have we got left?
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
You think about when Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, oh no, there's not going to be anyone. Then the next breed comes, then the next breed. Same with tennis, you think, oh, no Federer, no Nadal, no Djokovic. There's always a crew that comes next.
There is. There is,
Yeah. So,
and
yeah.
so I'm looking forward to the tennis. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
watching the cricket.
Yes.
Here, the holidays are here. Are you back at work this week? How much do you have to go?
No, as soon as the baby comes,
Oh, yep.
which will be New Year's Eve,
Oh, yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
do believe.
Yep.
I'm going to take 2 weeks off work.
Oh, nice. Yep. Yep. Change
I
nappy.
don't owe work anything.
Yep.
I've been there for 20 years and,
Yep.
I
Yep.
generally only take 10 days off a year.
Yep.
So, this will be time for me and the bubba,
And
whatever it
nappy
is,
change.
boy or girl.
Have you changed a nappy yet?
I tried doing it on a teddy bear. So that's as far as it's gone. I'm
How did it
getting
go?
better.
You didn't drop the
But
teddy bear?
no, but I think I actually need to try it on a real baby.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that moment of judgment will come
It'll
sooner than I
come.
think.
Yeah,
So
it'll.
being a dad will be its own sport. Trust me.
Well, the thing is, the nappy changing, the poo, isn't the bad thing. The bad thing is the
Yeah.
disturbed sleep.
Yeah. The poo isn't the bad thing. There's
Yeah,
one thing though, I am a bit cautious of if I've got a boy, I'll need to dodge those like bullets of piss like the fucking
yeah,
Matrix.
yeah.
They'll be zooming out because apparently they spurred up a bit,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But that's if it's a boy. It could be a girl. We don't know yet.
But as
So
I
it'll
said,
be
don't worry
yeah,
about that. You just
yeah.
the hard bit is sleep. Sleep.
Yeah, oh, that's all right. Look, I haven't had sleep for 47 years.
Yeah.
So another sentence of no sleep is just going to
Yeah.
be business as usual.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Hmm.
I think fatherhood is going to be its own sport for me.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
let me tell you, I don't know, and you're a father of three.
Oh,
I
God.
don't think any father is undefeated.
Oh,
We all take a few L's along the way.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm feed it every day. Every day.
Yeah,
Not even like once a day, multiple times a day. I
yeah,
get out of the ring.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I also can't wait for, even though it's a fair way away and I still get my withdrawals. I'm looking forward to the rugby league,
Yes,
several months away.
yes.
Vegas. I'm looking forward to
I'm
Vegas.
looking forward to Vegas too. I think it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
It's going to be good, you know?
Yeah. So I think it's 4 games, so that'd be good.
Yep.
And it should be a good season ahead. There's a lot that's happened this year
Yep.
in sport. One thing I will mention about the rugby league is, okay, it was good watching the Panthers make history for a little while.
Yep.
Let me tell you, I just don't want them to win 5 in a row. I'm done with all of that. Obviously, you go for your own side, we go for Manly, but outside of that, please, no more Panthers.
No more. I don't even think they're going to get a grand final appearance this year. I think it's just going to,
No.
I think then it's going to get nowhere close to that.
No, I think you're right. I think it's sort of starting to fracture a bit now, and they've lost Luai as
Yep.
well, amongst a few others. And you know what? It's not going to happen. But even if they came last,
Yep.
no one would say it's a disappointing season
Yep.
because they've won 4 in a row. They
Yep.
can finish anywhere and they're going to get a pass for this year
Yep. Yep.
because they've won 4 in a row,
Yep. Yep.
which is phenomenal.
I
And
reckon,
been in the last 5 grand
you know what
finals.
we have to do? One of these red hot underdogs is predict. We'll predict.
Yes.
We'll predict, and then when the minor premiers comes out and all the
Yeah.
order, we'll go back and we'll look at our prediction.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing for us and
Yep.
all the listeners or viewers for the
Yeah.
forthcoming year coming up.
Yep.
What will happen is we can do our tips
Yep.
and each week and see who wins at the end of the year.
Yep. Yep. But what I'm saying is predict where they're going to be at
Final standings.
Yeah. Yep. Final standings. Yep. But
Yeah.
do that soon. Maybe let's do that in
Yes.
like February or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we can do is like final standings for the regular season,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then just take a separate one and then just say who you think will be the 2 grand finalists
Yep.
and who you think will be the winner.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Which I think it'd be good fun.
Great fun.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot happening. It's sport just keeps on giving,
And what about
even though
talk about
we get
soccer as they're here? We talked about, I gave you 30 seconds of soccer last weekend,
Yeah.
and I went to the soccer.
Did you go to soccer this week?
No, I was going to go to the cricket last night.
Yeah.
Was that last night? Yeah, the Big Bash. I was going to take JJ to the Big Bash.
Yeah.
So the Sydney Sixers were playing the Sydney Thunder, and out in Homebush. And I was really going to go. The problem is that it starts at 7:15, and it's a long game, 3 hours or so.
Yeah.
And that's too late for him. Like,
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
like,
Just a question.
yeah.
Do you think that the popularity of the Big Bash has dipped?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I
I
know.
kind of feel it was bigger a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I know I'm not as interested in it. I'm just interested because I want to take JJ to a game, Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I don't mind the Big Bash. I actually don't mind the one-day internationals.
yeah,
I think that they brought in the Big Bash is basically because it got to a point where I think people were feeling that the middle section of one-day internationals, although it was important, the best bits were at the start with
yeah,
the first 10 overs and the last 10
yeah,
overs.
yeah, yeah.
And, they're not wrong, but I don't know. Big Bash is a bit hit and miss. You can have some great games of Big Bash, but you can
Yeah.
absolutely have some total stinkers.
Yeah.
Like if a side goes into bat first and they're down like 3 for 15 or something,
Yeah.
it can just completely fall ass out
Yeah. Quick.
from there on in.
Really quick. Hey.
Yeah. So, there's a bit going on, and there'll be a bit going on at the end of at the start of next year. I think we should do by the end
Only
of
got
this
30
year.
seconds to go, cuz. 30 seconds.
Beautiful. Maybe next year, maybe next week we can do a wrap up of 2024.
Yeah. That's a perfect idea.
Yeah,
Big things in sport to happen in 2024. Can we do that?
sounds great.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You do the notes, I'll just wing it. Okay?
100%. Yep, Batman and Robin.
Did you just think
Thelma
of
and
that now?
Louise.
Did you just think of that now?
Yes.
Ah,